Hello, welcome back to Survival Saturday, the first Survival Saturday of 2021 with Johnny Tiger. The date is January 2nd, 2021. Looks pretty cool on paper actually. That's 1221. Yeah, I know. I'm geeky, so what can I say? Before we go into today's techniques, let's talk about what make most self-defense techniques work and what make most self-defense techniques break. In my 15, 20 years or so of teaching, training, practicing martial arts and self-defense, I have seen this scenario over and over again where person A will say, oh, I know how to defend against someone grabbing my wrist. And person B will say, how do you do it? Person A will say, when you grab my wrist, I do this, 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 this. And person B will say, that doesn't work. Let me show you. And then person B will grab person A's wrist, and person A will go into their movement, and person B very easily break their technique. And then person A then feeling dejected. Oh my god, my taekwondo doesn't work. Oh my god, my karate doesn't work. Oh my god, my judo doesn't work. My instructor must be fake. My style must really suck. Not so. That is not the truth. The truth is, for most techniques to work, there has to be an element of surprise, an element of uncertainty, an element of shock. Yes, if you just punch someone in the face hard enough, it should work every single time. But even that, believe me, if you tell someone, I'm going to count to three, I'm going to punch you in the face, then most likely your punch is going to fail. Because that person knows you're going to punch them in the face. Unless you are super fast, like Bruce Lee, even Bruce Lee has to work on an element of surprise, deception, uh, 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 shock, and any kind of those combinations. Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, know yourself, and I paraphrase, know yourself, paraphrase, my Chinese root is coming through, uh, know yourself, know your enemy, and most of your battle will be victorious. But what's important here is know your enemy. If you know your enemy and you know yourself, then you can win almost 100% of the time. What does that tell us? That tells us knowing your enemy helps you win battle. If you know what move is coming, it's easy to say that move doesn't work. Okay? You can have a gun on your person, and if I know you're going to reach for that gun, then that gun is not going to do you any good. The only way you can get that gun out and point at me and threaten me with it is if I don't know that it's there. If I don't know you're going to reach for it. If you catch me by surprise. Otherwise, even a handgun is no good. A rifle, a shotgun, yeah, don't even think about it. Let's say you have something really strong, really powerful, like a shotgun, a machine gun. Okay, let's give you a machine gun. We are sitting at the table. If I know you have a machine gun, the moment you even think about looking in that direction, the moment you even put your hand on it, I am in your face already. There's no way you're going to get that machine gun in place to threaten me. So even firearm, even something as lethal as a machine gun is going to fail if the person know you're going to reach for it. If the person knows that it's coming. So that element of surprise is crucial in most confrontations. This is why uh, techniques break when you tell the person what you're going to do ahead of time. So when we go by that logic, next time someone asks you, do you know how to defend against when someone grabs your wrist? And you say yes. And they ask you what do you do? And you show them your move. And then they want to test you. The best way to get that to work is to change it up suddenly. Right? Let's say someone grabbed my wrist, and let's say someone asked me, what do you do when someone grabs your wrist? I'm going to say, I'm going to rotate this way and bring my arm down to break the grip. Okay, that is a totally valid self-defense technique. Work almost every time when you catch someone by surprise. But you know what? Now that I tell them, it's not going to work. Because the moment I start to rotate my wrist, they are going to follow the turn of my arm. So, rather than doing that, after I tell them, if they say, okay, I'm going to show you why it doesn't work, and then they grab my wrist, do I even want to bother with the technique? No. The moment they grab my wrist, I'm going to jump in and bring my elbow into their body, their face, break their grip. That is how you get the technique to work. It's built on the element of surprise. I'll give you an example. One time, in the early days of my Krav Maga training, I was training with my partner, and I was pointing a training pistol at my partner, and he was supposed to disarm me. And no matter what he did, he wasn't able to. Because every single time, the moment he started to move, I would pull the trigger, bang. Okay? I could sense his movement. I knew what he was going to do. So every time he moved, bang. He twitched, bang. He put his arm out, bang. Okay? So my partner got very frustrated. And he asked our head coach, he said, how do you deal with that, with someone like Johnny? He knows what I'm going to do, so the moment I twitch, he shoots me. And the coach said, here, I'll show you. And coach said to me, he said, okay, hold the gun, point the gun at me, do exactly what you do to him. So I was here, pointing the gun at him. I was totally focused on him. The moment he even twitched his arm, I would pull the trigger. The moment he even tried to move his body, I would pull the trigger. And then what did he do? He suddenly kicked me on the kneecap. Okay, that's what he did. Was that a valid defense against the gun? No, usually we don't do that because we're thinking the moment you kick someone on the leg, they might pull the trigger by accident. But I was so surprised that he did something like that. He kicked me on kneecap, I dropped down on one knee. By the time I thought about reorient my gun on him, he took the gun away already. He took me by surprise. He did something that we tell people not to do because he knew that was the way to take the gun from me, is to totally catch me by surprise. So why did I go on this long diatribe about surprise, knowing thy enemy, know thyself? Because what I'm going to show you guys today is one of those techniques that if you learn it, if you master it, if you practice and get really good at it, it's going to work for you like a skeleton key. Whenever someone grabs you, whenever someone gets close to you, it's going to work like a charm. It's going to be that skeleton key that get out of jail, free get out of jail card that gets you away, get the person to back away from you. But if the person knows it's coming, most likely it's not going to work. If the person is really angry, very determined, and knows it's coming, it's definitely not going to work. Okay? But, and most of my students, most of the people I train with, will attest to that. When you don't know it's coming, it hurts like crazy. And the first thing that's going to make you think is how to get away from the person that's doing it to you. I'm going to show you guys one of my trademark legendary tigerclaw. I'm going to put this paper sleeve over my arm to show you guys what this is supposed to look like. Because I don't have a partner here, and most of the time, it's hard to get a partner to want to demonstrate this anyway. This paper sleeve will symbolize, the my skin, my flesh, of an arm, or whatever body part you're doing this on. You see, tiger claw looks simple, but it is not as simple as it looks. A lot of people get it wrong. Okay, there's three ways people get this wrong. I'm going to show you guys first. One, people think it's a clawing, slashing motion with your fingernails. That is not a tiger claw. Okay, this has slashing at this paper sleeve. What happened to it? Nothing. It's got a few folds and wrinkles. Nothing. I even have a bit of fingernail. I grow my fingernail on my right hand for playing guitar. Even with that fingernail, it's not doing much to paper. If it doesn't do much to paper, it's not going to do much to a person. Okay? So, don't just scratch. Tiger claw is not a tiger scratch. Right? Some people do a pinch. I'm pinching the heck out of it. What is it doing? Creating more wrinkles. Okay? Would it hurt? Yeah, it would hurt. But it's not what a tiger claw is supposed to be. It's not a tiger pinch. Some people squeeze. Okay? They do this squeeze, squeeze the heck out of the skin. Yeah, we get more wrinkles, more folds on this. But again, that's not how it's supposed to be. Because believe it or not, there are people who have such good pain tolerance that if you put your hand on their skin and squeeze, they'll just choke you harder, or squeeze you harder, or hit you harder. Okay? Now, there's three elements to a tiger claw. Only three elements, but you got to coordinate them, make them work together. A tiger claw is a strike with your open palm, a squeeze, and a rip. A slap or a smack, squeeze, and rip. You want to think of your hand as a rat trap, a mouse trap. The moment you slap your target hard, your hand closes, your finger closes. Okay? So there has to be a smack and a squeeze almost simultaneously. You hit the person hard, your finger close around the skin and flesh, and then you rip. You rip. The ripping part is what's going to do the trick. Okay? Let's talk about these three elements. Why are they there? Why is the tiger claw so effective? First, If you touch the person, if you touch the body part that you are going to squeeze and rip with your hand, if the person is really muscular or wearing some kind of thick garment, you're not going to get a very good grip. Even on a shirt like this, if I just do this, I'm just getting close. I'm not getting much skin, which means I can rip all I want. It's not going to do anything. This is why we do the strike. Because the force of the strike will force my hand deep into the target, deep into the skin, into the flesh, okay? Not going to penetrate, but when I hit, when you strike something hard, it will compress the surface, giving you more to grip, even if the person is super tense. Okay, let's say if I tense up my arm, if I just grab, you try to grab here on my shoulder, on my uh, tricep, there's hardly anything to grab because I'm really toned here, and there's hardly any loose skin to grab. So if I just put my hand here and try to squeeze it, it's not going to do anything. However, if I start by throwing a hard slap, that will shock this whole area, relax the muscle enough for my fingertip to sink in and grab that big handful of skin. That's why that slap is there. That slap will allow your hand to go deeper into the target. The squeeze. Obviously, the squeeze is for you to secure a good solid hold. Okay? Think of your fingers like fish hooks, meat hooks. Sink them into whatever you get a hold of. Okay? Because the next part is the rip. The rip is designed because most people have an instinctual reaction to pull away from ripping, stabbing, tearing pain. A lot of people can take a lot of big, solid, hard, boom impact, the blunt impact. Okay, a lot of people can take those, especially people who fight a lot, people who train a lot. But most people, especially when it's unexpected, will pull away from fire, will pull away when they get nipped, they'll pull away even when they get a paper cut. They'll pull away when the pain signals structural damage, possible structural damage. This is why we do the ripping motion. Because that ripping pain, that ripping open of the skin, signal their brain they better get away from you. That will give you room to run away or get at your self-defense tool. Now, let me show you guys what it's supposed to be then. Again, we look at the scratch, which doesn't do anything, no matter how hard I do it. Okay, we look at the pinch, the squeeze, none of it do anything, really. A proper tigerclaw, we strike, we close our hand, we rip, would look like something like this. The entire piece breaks off. Okay, the entire paper sleeve, all these staples fall apart. That's how much force that would have. When you do a technique like this, you want to aim for soft tissue inside of the underarm, inside of the thigh, okay, underside of the rib cage, and inside of the neck, the throat area, face. I have people that tell me before If I do that to them, it wouldn't affect them because they would just push past this pain and continue choking me. The only response I give them is, well, yeah, but would you really do that if I was doing that to your face? Probably not. Thank you for checking out today's Survival Saturday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Soul Search Sunday. For now, have a good night.